To be or not to be? That's the question this week. I used to live in an apartment 2B. Anyway, we're going to work on the passenger side a little bit today and talk about why. I have done some rookie stuff this week. That's okay. I'll show you guys. It don't matter. We need to shut that fan off. I don't think you guys can even hear it. Got the wood heat going in here. It's kind of nice. So, real quick, I wanted to make fun of some other channels. I got 3 days till SEMA. We're going to have this thing done. Folks, that's not possible. I don't mean just for me, for anybody. That's a bunch of malarkey. But I thought you'd get a kick out of it. It's never going to SEMA. It's certainly not in 3 days. I'll be lucky to have them rockers done in 3 days. You guys that wanted to see how rockers are done, and I haven't been very fast at it. When we do this side, it's going to go a lot quicker. I shouldn't say that. I think it's going to go a lot quicker because it's not as bad. Now, it looks like it is, but it's not. Anyway, back to be or not to be. That'll come up through the video. Let's get started on my rookie stuff this week. So I was working, I'll take you right over here. I was working on this rocker, inners, outers, all that. So my problem was, what's been holding me off here, is the inner, it's in, but the bottom of this inner rocker, which would be the inside, obviously, of this rocker, has the drain holes, and the bottom of it was cut like a bow. And I seen it when I had it hold of it and was going to glue it in. I thought that was kind of odd because the bottom of this seam where it fixes the inner and outer rockers, that's straight. So I kept ignoring it until now, where I had to deal with it because I'm going to get this outer rocker put on. And sure enough, it doesn't fit. Go figure. So I only mention that because of what I'm going to talk about next. I wanted you to have a little idea how this stuff isn't built just right. And then we'll talk about rockers and good and bad ones and all that. So I ended up grinding it flat or straight. I marked it and, had 3 goes at it because I can't do it in 1 goes. Yeah, you guys caught that, didn't you? But I got that to fit. And I got this rear all welded in here. And I wanted to put the 2 bolts in. Now, they can't stay there because those 2 bolts are also used for the cab support, the underneath cab support I haven't put in yet. So those will have to come back out, and then the cab support installed and those bolts put back in. Well, go figure. Those holes didn't line up to where the cab back needed to be. Here we go in our 2Bs and not 2Bs. So did I want to line the cab corner up with the holes in this inner rocker that I'm not sure is so good? Or did I want to line it up where I thought it should be? So do I want it where it should be or where it was be? I don't know. This cab's bad. It's just bad. It's more bad, which makes it more fun. It kind of is. So I end up putting ratchet straps around the cab and pulling the cab back in so that I could drill new holes. Yeah, it's not going to sound right now that I'm hearing myself say it. Where the cab used to be, it fit in those holes. So I kind of thought that's where it should be until I put the outer rocker on, and I had finger gap between it, which we talked about before. So I didn't know. Yeah, I know you guys probably want to see me once in a while I'm talking. So I wasn't sure. It seemed like the place to put it. So I was going to cut the rocker again, make the rocker longer, and I got to thinking, no, wait a minute. We kind of did this side halfway right. And if this door opening's too small, that's going to be a lot of work making the door smaller to fit it. Not really what I want to do. So I went ahead and close the gap. Now, before I did it, and I could talk all day, we want to get some work done. I measured the inside of the door opening on both sides, and this one was larger. And then I was going to check it against my 71, which is in the shop still, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But it has door seals on it, and there's no place to measure that would be the same. So do I want it to be here or to be there? Okay, I'm going to tell you what I did. I pulled it in with the ratchet straps to fit the rocker, which we did end up getting fit earlier. I remember before we took the door off, which I like to leave the doors on, but now we've taken the door off, so this is what we got to deal with. So moving forward, I drilled those 2 holes and moved it a 1/4 inch tighter. If by some chance you guys are around when it happens, the door opening is too small, making the door a little smaller is way easier than making it bigger. So we'll deal with that when we cross that bridge. So next week, I hope to have this rocker on here. I got it fit pretty good, except my rookie mistake. So let's get over there and we'll start working on that. We'll get over there and work on the door. Oh yeah, did I show you guys this? I got the bottom of that all done up. Got it tarred one time over. All right, enough about my tar. So over here, yeah, you can see. Well, we might as well go there while it's in the viewfinder. 1971 C-10 in Spanish gold. So what we got over there, look, the hood's closed. Why is the hood closed? Well, because I put that injector in and I fired her up and it ran perfect. Yeah, I said it perfect. I wasn't going to bore you guys with watching me put them little screws in and put the little wires on it. It wasn't that big of a deal. If you ever have to work on one, you can do it in a truck. There's no sense in hauling it out to the table. I like to do everything on the table. But if I have to do it again, I'm going to do it in the truck. Now, at $63 an injector, I don't want to keep doing this. But so far, I've had to replace one injector. I'm going to take the blame for it. We have talked about this, Holley EFI versus Phytech. I'm not a Phytech guy. I'm not really a Holley EFI guy either, but I like Holley's been around since, I don't know, 40s and 50s. It's just a good name. You can get tech support. Sure, you got to be on the phone a long time. Doesn't matter. It's a good company. You can actually get to talk to somebody if you needed to. I probably should have, but I just did my own thing and it worked out. A new injector, $63, piece of cake to put in. I put it in there, put it all back in the truck. That was more work than I needed it to be because I created the work. I could switch out an injector on this now in, I don't know, 15 minutes. No joke, 15 minutes. So if I have to do another one, then it wasn't really the injector's fault because the screen wasn't fit or fitted properly, which is what I think happened. But I know I have a somewhat contaminated fuel system, meaning that I use the old fuel tank. My fault, my call. I'm running more filters through it. I'm running, well, a sock screen in the tank. I'm running a pre-filter, post-filter. I'm trying to filter out what I can, but I think there's just some tiny silt that's so small that can get through and will likely block my injectors eventually, just the screens. Maybe not, but I can take those out and clean those screens. That doesn't bother me as long as it doesn't ruin the injectors. So if I have to actually replace another injector, then I'm going to do a fuel tank flush, monkey with all that. I don't know. Put on another filter maybe. So that could be my issue. You know, I don't buy everything brand new. So there's that. Let's move on to this. So the rocker didn't fit the bottom. And we talked about this last week, but if you weren't here last week, you're going to have to see this. Where the rocker wasn't wide enough between the door, I don't know how to put that. It was offset. And I wanted to level them up so that the stones didn't hit the higher part. You follow me? So I wanted to pull it down and make the rocker larger at the base so it would be the same size as the rear cab corner. Well, I thought it was just a little tiny bit, but I'll get you right in here and show you. You can see my rookie-ish stuff here. Again, I don't know what you can see on this thing. The viewfinder for me isn't very good. I get home and you can see a lot. But can you see the gap we got going on here? That's not small. I can almost put my pinky, yeah, I can, between there. That's quite an adjustment to make up for that cab corner. I really didn't think it'd be that much. My rookie mistake was all this hackery in here. And it's because it was on the truck and I was twisted upside down. Yeah, I'm making excuses. I was using a half wore out blade. And I thought it was straight, but I was cutting crooked. So all this mess up here is my fault. It's just me. It should have been a straight line and just been a V wedge, like a pie shape, instead of this crap I did here. So I'll take my 10 snips and get me some sheet metal off that door out there in the yard, and I'll weld all this up, get it welded up solid, get it all ground down, and rebody work it. Now this is the bottom of the rocker, so body work isn't like, I don't have to be meticulous about it. It's got a dent right there anyway. Nobody's going to see it just as long as it's steel and it's covered and it's caulked and seam sealed, and you know all that stuff. So there's what I got ahead of me. I'm not going to, you guys can see that everywhere. So I decided to take a step away, step back for a minute, And I stepped back over here and thought, I'm going to do a little something on this passenger side that's not as bad. And I want to show you guys this before I start. And some of you guys are saying, well, do it right. Do it right. I got a kick out of that. I got that comment last week and I laughed because there's only one way to do it. Right? I didn't do that on purpose. We're back to be and not to be. Before I open this door, you guys can kind of see the gap there. We got flashy lights. I thought I fixed that. It's got a lock, so it doesn't do that. And I hit the lock button and it's still doing that. All right. Any rate, what we're looking at now, yeah. I mean, if you got time, hit the button. This door gap right here, I'm using this for a pointer. This door gap right here, holy cow, the flashy lights. I'm telling you, people, I'm at my wit's end with a lot of stuff these days. I'm going to figure out how to get that locked in better. Because I want to play with that camera instead of working on this truck. This door gap, I'm not going to bother above where you can't see, but it's good. Now, the front corner of these up here, right up where you can't see it at the top, those are always tight. Every truck I got, every truck I've ever seen, they're super tight at the top corner. They'll hit. They should have been made smaller. I should have made my last one smaller. I'm probably going to make these smaller. But this door gap is good right here. Don't have a problem with it at all, with the door shut. But when you get down to this replacement bottom somebody put on here, can you see there's like no gap at all? The black disappears. That's not just your camera, folks, or your viewfinder. That's what they did. This bottom outer door has been replaced, and it's not great. I don't know what to tell you. We'll have to body work that on the bench because I don't think I'm redoing that too. I don't have any. I know Tom would buy them, but I'm not looking to do even more work than I've already done or have to do. And to do this seam equality when the rest of the truck's not going to be is ridiculous. We got to make everything kind of flow. But this door gap going to nothing, the door sticks out. I mean, I'm not going to hurt my fingers just so you can hear it, but I'm hitting my fingers all the way to about, maybe right there we won't complain. This is nice. Up here is all nice. And then now you could push the door in, but no, you can't. They put this door skin on the outside, and that's probably why it's got all this. I don't know. When we do the inner, we'll see what happens with that. Again, we're not trying to go for perfect, but they wrapped it around the old stuff, I think. It just caused this to be longer and thicker. So I'm going to have to cut and grind that off and re-weld that edge and body work, all that. You've seen that on other shows, I'm sure. But that's something we got to think about. The door bottom, well, it lines up with, there's no rockers, so that don't matter. So what I want to do is take this door off. But I want to tell you guys something before I take the door off. No, you're going to see how, see it move? Did you see it go down? Doesn't matter if you didn't, it did. So I was kind of leaving doors on so that it would be where it's supposed to be. Not so much. Because now when we go to close the door, they don't even close. I mean, I got like, put my hand all in there. There's all kinds of room. You see what I'm getting at here? So what it is, the door drops. Now I don't know how, I can't even get it open without lifting it. So I don't know how to show you this. But just so you understand why I do the things I do, and if people are going to complain, and I know I do everything wrong, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm doing my truck my way, and you do your truck your way. But see if you can you see the flexing there? I thought this would hold it kind of where it should be. I think this is original. Better than the other side. And they just kept putting ones over it, I believe. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is original. So, wow, that's going to hold me right. No, it's not. That door doesn't hold right. Watch it closely now. Watch it right there. You see how this goes up and down? And it's going, what it's doing is making it longer and shorter as I move that door up and down. And if you were able to see in the truck from the floor to the back of the cab, when I lift this door up, it's moving that in and out. So my point is, things are not where they should be. They're where they want to be. And if anything, we want them to be where they should be. See, I told you it's going to be a B, one of those shows where we have I say B a lot. Drinking games, you know me, every show's a drinking game. So what I ended up doing, or I'm going to do with you guys, we're going to take this door off too. Because it doesn't matter now. I didn't put all that cross bracing in there and weld it all up like the other channels do to keep everything where it should be, because should be is already gone. We're at where it wants to be, where it's rusted to be. So that's just a waste of time. Let's not even bother with it. But this door should be where it's supposed to be, because it was on it. It was on there. I thought I noticed earlier. Yeah, the door itself has paint half moons on the bolts, and it looks like they pushed the door in from where it was painted, assuming that they were trying to make up for their door deal. Okay, enough said. So what we're going to do, these bolts are where I'm pretty sure they're where they should be. All we're going to do is drill this. I don't know if I showed you this before. I told you. Now I'm going to show you. We're going to drill these out. Just drill a hole. I already did the top one. Right through the hinge and the sheet metal of the frame. Just pick a drill size you like. Something relatively small, because it's just going to be a locating pin. And when we get done, we'll just dab a little seam seal in it. It'll paint over and nobody will see it. Body shop trick, you know. In case I hadn't showed you this before, we'll do it right here, right now. Wow, I thought that drill was sharper than that. Oh, I'm making headway. We're almost there. We ought to be. All right. There's our locator pin. Now, if these will cooperate. Oh, sorry, I should have warned you. It's going to get loud. Yeah, that one don't want to work. That one's good. Get them right out of there. Couple at the top. I like to loosen that bottom one. It looks like by hand. Let me grab a socket wrench real quick. You guys would laugh at me. I like to use these quarter drives. These little tiny things. I don't tend to over torque anything with these. And you would say, well, good gracious, that torque wrench should probably do 100 foot-pounds. Well, that wasn't it. Well, it does about 100, but I can get about 150 out of this. I thought it was going to make a fool out of me. Nope, I got her. Okay. So the door's in there. Should be fine. Let's take... Ooh, it moved. It scared me. I said it. It scared me. Just holding pressure on the door because it's sitting in there in the jam, so it can't really go anywhere. As long as you don't let go of it. And it shouldn't go anywhere anyway. But let's see if we can get that off of there without looking too silly. I always look silly. It don't matter. Here, let's get you out of the way. Maybe I'll drop this like I did that rear glass in my glass video, huh? That was scary stuff. Oof, I'm still scared. I like the other side better. I can't. I'm not left-handed. Yeah, it is what it is. Let's go. You know what? Why am I always just scared of something? It's gonna be fine. See, look at that. Piece of cake. Nothing to it. It's not even heavy. All right, I'm not monkeying around. It is heavy. Just sit this over here on the floor so I have something else in my way. All right. Nothing to it but to do it. I done did it. You guys in the mood to cut out some rockers, or do you want me to start welding on something else? I don't know. Let's just keep going on this. Look at this ugliness. I mean, it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I want to get started on it. I want to try. This one has a little more inner structure. This little spot here is not, I mean, it's rusted really bad, but it's there. And then the outside, yeah, it looks welded. I'm going to say that's the original. Oh, I was going to show you that real quick. I will. Let me go grab a rocker. I'll be right back. But this rocker's original, and on the front and back of the originals, they have a filler. I'll show you on this one. We don't have to go too far. Again, show you guys all this stuff. I want you to see it. All right. So, you can see me. This rocker here at the bottom. This is the original rocker. I can tell by the way it is. You guys know what I'm talking about. It wraps around. It's got a couple of spot welds. I said it wraps around. It has a couple of spot welds in the front of this beam. And then you see this. I don't know if you can see that hole. There's no real. Okay, I can go from this side. There's a hole right here. And that hole right here is in every other truck I've got. And it's where the outer rocker goes here. And they weld this in to the outer rocker. Now maybe GM, it looks welded in GM too. I thought maybe they folded it over, but it's welded into the lower outer rocker part. And this would stiffen the rocker from being loose. I mean, it's probably not important, not necessary to have that full rocker, except I put a plug here, and dirt and debris that comes up around your dog leg on your front fender, dirt could go up inside this. So that blocks it off. Well, just noticed this the other day. Wasn't paying attention. This one, don't have it. They didn't even weld this. They folded this metal over, and they folded this metal in. As a matter of fact, there's a little tab, little bit of metal that sticks out here on the end that is too much metal, and it doesn't allow this metal to sit flush. Follow me? It holds it out. So I have to grind that little tiny bit off of there. But when they folded this over, you have a little strength in the folded spot. They didn't weld it right here as a gap. And it certainly doesn't have any metal up here, nor does it have that triangle here with a hole in it. Now that's not going anywhere, but I have a feeling I'm going to have to fill that eventually because dirt and stuff's going to go inside my rocker, and within an hour it's going to be trapped in there. Same thing on the other end. There's no bracing. Now I can't help myself because the rockers, the other rocker that Tom owns, I think these all came with his truck. I don't believe he bought any of these. So I'm not putting any blame on him anyway. Wouldn't matter if it was. So this rocker looks the same. It's brand new, but very old. Still got stickers on it even. But the back doesn't have any bracing, which I don't think they did in the back. I mean, there's this folded spot. But this is what I'm talking about. They copied GM on this end. They have the folded motor metal in the front, and they welded in this triangle in this hole. Now, it isn't as pretty. You can see the hole goes behind that, all that metal a little bit. It's not in the right location, but it doesn't matter. I can put a plug in this one, and we can have it sealed off. And this folded over part is going to give this a little more structure when I go gluing them together. This rocker does not have that folded over spot in the front. It's just got a little tiny bit of metal there. It doesn't have, it's not the same. It's not as nice quality. That's all I can tell you. So when you're buying your parts, something to think about, paying a little more for higher quality parts. I'm not trying to lecture. You can buy the cheap ones. They're going to be fine. In my case, just going to be more work. So you didn't save any money anyway. Doing more work, using more metal, use more welding material. So again, we don't really have to worry too much about where things are supposed to be or need to be because they've already moved. If you didn't get my point yet, everything's already moved. We just got to figure out how to get it back some semblance of where it belongs. Let's I don't know if I really want to just go into this. So let's cut off, get some of this sharp metal out of our way, and then we'll work on finding out what GM did on this. If somebody else might have welded, I don't know. But if I remember, they're not attached very low. So let's just make a little noise, cut across here for a second, get some of this out of the way before you guys have to go. Yeah, I should have had my hearing protection on. I mean, you guys can turn the phone down, or your TV or whatever. I can't do that, and I can't stand the loud noise anymore. All right, here we go, a little more. We're going to get this out of here. I think that was it. Get a little here at the back. Make sure I'm not cutting anything I need. Well, you guys can't see that anyway, can you? Sorry. How about that? Now I realize I have to cut more when I do this little cut business I do. Maybe I'm using up more wheels. That's on me. It's just how I do stuff. But I don't really want to pull on some of this original structure, which is pretty much gone. Told you guys this slide wasn't going to be as bad. And I was afraid I spoke too soon. And I did. So let's see what we can show you. Oh, I'm not. This side I think's worse. A little cutting in the front real quick. Let's go. All right, well, now we can see a little. I had to get you guys down here before we leave, and just so you can dream about next week's video, because that's what I'm going to be doing for the next while. Get you down in here. Should have just took you off the tripod, but so this is what's left of our inner. See the bolt right here? And there's one up here that I didn't cut out enough to see. It's got a wrinkle in it. Somebody put a jack or something on it. What really bugs me is this piece right down here. This little horseshoe, because this part is part of the truck. It's not part of the inner rocker. It's not part of the outer rocker. It's not part of the cab corner. It's part of the cab main frame, and it is just about as gone as it. I mean, there's a tiniest little bit of metal, and I gotta leave it. I mean, a tiny little bit on the inside. It's bent real bad. Let me cut it loose, see if I can get it straightened out. What I'm getting at, see how this don't matter anymore? This is part of the truck, and it's supposed to give you a backer to your inner and outer, and it's hooked to the rest of the cab B pillar, to be or not to be, and the B pillar, and they just ain't nothing there. So I'm gonna have to make one of those. I'm quite sure you can't buy that part. I would bet money on it, and I'm gonna keep skinning this off. But as you see, we had somebody do a cab corner. I thought this was the original cab corner, but evidently not. We did a cab corner, and that all tucks in. Probably won't use this. It all tucks into this. I got a little room. Now, when you cut that area, you don't want to go real deep because you're trying to get this part of the cab, outer rocker that goes underneath the door away from the cab support, the B pillar here. And I'm gonna do this off camera, but just got to keep nipping in there until you can get that loose. Peel all this away, try and get this straightened back up. So I'm gonna work on that a while. Guys, thanks for coming. I appreciate it. I didn't mention new viewers again this week. I apologize. I'll try to get to those next week. I've got a short list. Don't get me wrong. I've had quite a few people. I'm just getting things just. I've had a few, not quite a few, but I've had some people join the channel. Thank you. Subscribe. I had some comments from some people who aren't subscribed. That's fine. I want to mention those names. I'll do it next week. Those of you guys that have been here every week, thank you for coming every week. Like, subscribe, whatever it is. Ring the bell, blah, blah, blah. You see my subscribe and look for that Loctite. It was in there. It's here. And we'll come back next week and show you how this worked out. Show you on that side some things that are worked out. We'll do a little more work. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in another week, give or take. All right, gotta go.